One of the pitfalls of newer massage therapists is that somebody will tell them it hurts here, or it hurts here, or it hurts in my leg. And then what that person may do is just treat that one area. This woman had, her back was like really stiff and tight. All she did was take a long walk with a friend and her body went into seizing mode. Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me on this video. Today, I want to talk a little bit about clients' experience and therapeutic massage and kind of what it means to be therapeutic. And hopefully this will help you. This is really meant for new massage therapists or body workers or seasoned therapists that want to be more effective. So that's really what this video is for. I had a client today and she has a lot of complicated issues. She was into sports when she was younger. I would place her at about mid-40. So lots of sports. She tends to throw her back out. She didn't play those sports well, like most of us didn't play those sports well. Nobody told us about body mechanics or how to recover or even how to stretch properly. And so a lot of times, people have the perception that we're all just, it doesn't really matter. You're just in high school. You won't hurt yourself. But a lot of times the greatest injuries come from sports injuries in high school, mostly because we're just not aware. And then we push through. And then we wake up and we're 35, 40, 45, and we have a lot of complex injuries. Let me just give you a little backstory about this person. Her back gets thrown out. She also has a right shoulder injury from sort of dislocating it when she was younger. Okay, sound familiar? You get clients with complex injuries, maybe an old injury in their neck from a whiplash from a car accident in their 20s, or a broken bone, or like my client, her back gets thrown out and then she has the shoulder injury. Okay, so today we focused on her back. And what's interesting is I chose to focus on her coxal ligaments, as well as her SI ligaments, and all of those posterior ligaments around her back, and then her psoas, the whole thing, right? And the reason I did this is because she complains of instability. What we were talking about is there's really this fine balance between overworking and not working enough. So one of the pitfalls of newer massage therapists is that somebody will tell them it hurts here, or it hurts here, or it hurts in my leg. And then what that person may do is just treat that one area, the injury, the kind of overwork it. Let me dig it out. Oh, it's your shoulder, it's your back, you've got poor posture. Let me dig that out. Let me over-treat that. And a lot of times, well, I'm going to say with some certainty that hardly ever works, because people are so layered and we carry these injuries with such complexity, and then our bodies overcompensate because of these injuries. Let me regress a little bit and just geek out, okay? Our bodies are so good at keeping us alive. They're just not very good at keeping us pain-free with great range of motion. So let me explain what I'm trying to say. When there's an injury to the low back, let's say, or there's a whiplash in a car accident, the first instinct that our body will do is to start splinting the area, just tightening, okay? The reason our skeletal muscle does that is to protect all of the joints and the spine and the limbs and the bones, okay? So think about it from a biological perspective. Think about it from a survival instinct. If you are out in the woods and you just broke your leg, your body's going to register a lot of pain, and then the muscles around that leg are just going to tighten so much so that you can carry yourself out of the forest. And so everything is going to splint. Your body goes into fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system, all the muscles are going to splint. So that's what we initially do. When there is an injury, a fall, a whiplash, a car accident, a broken bone, our body will tighten. That's an incredible instinct. We need that stability around that joint. The problem is if that injury does not get treated properly, then we're going to have like this artificial tightening around that joint. I'm oversimplifying, of course, but for our purposes as skeletal muscular practitioners, there's a splinting going on. There's a tightening. Now, if that stays too tight for too long, you'll develop problems. The problem with many practitioners that don't understand how everything is all related, because you need really a great understanding of anatomy to get there, is that if you just go in and you dig that out, you dig out like all of that tightening muscle. Oh, there's another adhesion. Oh, there's another big thing. I got to work it out. I got to muscle this. I have to get this out. I need to soften this tissue. The problem is you could destabilize the joint. And that's what happened to my client. She worked with other therapists, even PTs, not everybody understands how to do this all properly. It doesn't really matter what letters are behind your name. But when you understand how human beings operate under stress, then this might help you develop a strategy for your clients, which is the point of this video, really. So I call it layering. Okay, so what that means is when something is chronic, when something is long lasting, this woman had, her back was like really stiff and tight. All she did was take a long walk with a friend and her body went into seizing mode because she's had so many injuries over so many years that's the instinct of her body. So there's no amount of me pushing into anything that's going to take that away. That is a brain response. That is her brain and her nervous system's way of responding to that injury. So I have to kind of be like an Aikido master and work around that. And so her nervous system can let go. So there's so many different techniques for this. It's called layering. So I'll go in and I'll do a nice, medium, deep, pinpointed pressure around the splinting. I'm not digging anything out. I'm not working through anything. I'm just naturally often doing some myofascial release, just trying to soften. My intention is just let's soften a little bit. And then I'm paying attention. How fast, how quickly does that release? If it releases quite quickly, that's great. The nervous system is kind of working well. If it doesn't release quickly, I'm not pushing it out. There's a reason why that muscle won't release. So then I'll do kind of an initial layer in the area of pain, the area of discomfort. I do that for a few reasons. One, it's what the client wants, right? They want you to touch the area that hurts. If the middle of my back hurts, please touch it. Obviously, that's not the whole story. The pecs being over tight is also contributing to that lengthening of that mid back, of course. But we need to touch, we need to give the clients what they want, right? So touch the area. Do what I call an initial pass. And then channel all that stuff about the ligaments that are holding the bones in place or the tendons that are holding the muscle to the bone, right? And so then go back to the low back. Her pelvis and low back are intimately related. So not knowing exactly what to do, not knowing exactly what's going to be the perfect pressure for her, I'm going to start trying to soften those ligaments, those tendons around her SI joint, around her coxal ligament, because of the way that she's told me about her symptoms. She has not incontinence, but she has sensitivity in her bladder when she, re-injures her low back. There's just different kinds of problems. I once worked on somebody that broke their tailbone and then they couldn't sit down and they couldn't pee properly. There's a lot going on in that area. There's a lot of nerves coming out on the inside of that sacrum and then innervating down the private area and then down the leg. Okay. So anyway, I know all of this and I'm trying to devise a plan. So I do that initial run through of her low back. And then I pause and I might flip her over, and then I might do some stretching. You know, that was knee to chest kind of stretching, side to side. It feels so good. And the reason I might do that is because, again, I want her brain to integrate. There's no more threat. Her back doesn't need to tighten. That injury happened 10, 20 years ago. So that splinting is still happening, but I don't want her to release too much. So I'm not going to dig anything out. And I'm going to do an initial pass, and then I'm going to integrate. And then I'm going to do something else that kind of helps stabilize. So I might work her psoas muscles. I might work the anterior side of her hips. Again, all to stabilize that low back. Then when I've done some nice nurturing things like that, I might have her turn back over and then do another pass through her low back, but going deeper this time, being more specific to those multifidi muscles, the tissue over the sacrum, and then the SI ligaments. And then again, I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to be paying attention. Is there a release? How is that release? I look at it like this. If you get to a release, that's good enough. That's therapeutic in nature. There's no quick fix for somebody that has a very old injury. And really, it's about balancing. When you can get the brain to work with that muscle, and you can get the brain to say, oh, wait, wait a minute, there's no threat here. Wait, I can release, I can let go. And as long as you don't overwork them, then the brain is going to start understanding what normal is again. It's going to start understanding what homeostasis is. Our bodies want to be even. They want to be balanced. Look at babies. You know, they're just practically all cartilage. You could just squeeze them and pull them apart. Not really, but you know what I mean. You can pull them apart. All that to say, if you are over-treating and overworking at the expense of all the other parts of the potential injury, as well as an ability to make an entire session feel really complete and yummy, then you're probably overworking. If somebody has very complex issues with injuries and accident 1, accident 2, an old injury from high school, something like that, just know that there's so many years of compensation that you really have to do a very complete session. And if you don't know how to do that, then continue some continuing education with me, somebody else in your state, whatever, but learn it. The world needs more therapeutic-oriented, effective massage therapists out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next video.